Everyone, this is Jay here with Fantasy Labs, and I'm going to start a Bankroll Builder series for you guys to help walk you through everything from how much to put in play each night to what games you should enter, and ultimately, this could show you how to successfully grow your bankroll, hopefully. If you're on the fence about playing NBA or haven't really had success lately, I think it's very, very important to be aware of how significant bankroll management is, as well as game selection. These are two very important factors into success. So if you're playing with a limited bankroll, you definitely want to maximize your odds of winning night in and night out. So let's go to DK, DraftKings here, and I will be starting with $100 bankroll on DraftKings. And let's go ahead and get in some action. This is the Monday, February 29th, 7-game slate. So what I'm going to do is post some head-to-heads here. And with the $100 bankroll, I'm going to do 5 $1 games, 2 $2 games, and I'm going to limit the number that people can scoop to just one. It's very important to understand variance in DFS, especially in NBA. So if you ask any DFS pro about variance, you'll pretty quickly understand why bankroll management is so valuable. Alright, and I'm just going to put in, I'm going to reserve these for now. And then yeah, so I'm starting with $100. If you want to start with 500 or even 50, that's fine as well. I recommend putting in whatever you are comfortable potentially losing. If you find yourself putting in 100 and redepositing often, that kind of means you have a disposable income bankroll larger than 100. So I would recommend starting with the larger amount that as long as you're comfortable instead of continuing to redeposit. It'll just make it easier for you if you follow strict bankroll management the whole time. So redepositing often I think implies kind of that your bankroll management isn't very strong, and it's really difficult to grow a small bankroll, grinding cash games especially, but I promise it's definitely possible. I've done it several times. Back in 2011, I had a serious gushers addiction and struggled to earn enough each week in NBA to cover those expenses, but I definitely tightened up my bankroll management and had solid cash game principles, and ultimately I was able to feast like a king. So since I'm primarily a cash game player, I'm going to do a 90-10 split, meaning 90% of my action each night will be in cash and 10% will be in GPP. So you saw I posted 5 $1 games, 2 $2 games, and I'm going to join a $1 tournament here for my GPP. So we'll do the 1.5K and 1. And I'll reserve this seat as well for now really quick. Okay, so I got $10 in entry fees total. That's 10% of my account, and that's, I think, I start with a very strict 10% of bankroll in action every night, and that will change, based on how your bankroll grows or shrinks. And the reason for the head-to-heads, I'm trying to diversify my opponents and help limit risk. And I think that's very important especially when you're starting out to try and build. So let's go ahead and go to Fantasy Labs really quick, of course, to build this cash game lineup. Pricing on DraftKings has definitely been very hard lately, so it's more and more difficult to pay up for studs. So obviously there's been some news that's come out on the left, as you can see. We starting with kind of Jahlil Okafor ruled out, which opened up value for Jeremy Grant, Nerlens Noel, and Hollis Thompson's playing, which doesn't help Robert Covington as much. So, and then obviously the Kings with the big news of the night with Rondo and Gay expected to miss time, so that really opens up for Darren Collison and Omri Caspi as well. So I've actually been messing around with the model a bit today, and we've been tightening up projections. Justin's been on that all day, so this is actually the fan model, so perfect for cash. And we'll run the optimizer really quick and go through. And there's really nothing that I want to change. I definitely wanted to lock in kind of Collison, Will Barton with Gallinari out, Caspi, who's fully expected to start. Either way, I think will definitely log more minutes, obviously, with Gay out. Nerlens with Okafor out has produced pretty much every time. Dwight at a very soft price of 7,300 with a great matchup there. DJ Augustine logging more minutes. Moutier's not playing as much. Um, Very cheap price, so the cheapest guy I'm going. And then DeMarcus Cousins I like quite a bit with Rudy Gay out at the forward position here. And then really the only kind of tournament play in my cash lineup is Rudy Gobert, but I actually really like him in this spot tonight. So I'm definitely fine with this lineup for cash. So let's go ahead and go to my lineups. And then as you can see, we got Markieff Morris starting ahead of Dudley, which definitely makes things interesting because Nene is out as well. So they still have, J.J. Hickson. They still have a few other bigs there to get minutes. Let's actually go to my contests. And there's the good Sixers beat writers and Brett Brown ruling him in and then out. So let's go ahead and throw this lineup in for now. And we got, so Carlson, Barton, Caspi. Actually. Alright, then let's get Dwight in there. Let's get, and we might tweak this as time goes by with some new news, obviously. Augustine, Cousins, Gobert. Alright, and I'll put this in for now. And let's go ahead and export it to everything for now. Alright, so I got my cash games in. I got my, opponents will start taking those games. Let's go ahead and edit my tournament lineup as well because I don't really want to run that cash lineup in the tournament. So let's go ahead and clear that, and let's go. I'm actually going to go to my my other model here, and I kind of think, the Kings game has pretty high potential of a blowout now with Rondo especially out there. And I definitely think those guys are going to carry high ownership, Caspi and Collison, and even Boogie to an extent. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you listened to our pod last night, I really like Chris Paul as a tournament play here, kind of a pivot, especially to Westbrook. And then I'm going to get some Harden action we can lock in. And now with this new news with Markieff Morris starting, Wizards are being updated. Well, they are updated now, so let's go ahead. I kind of like Markieff's upside here. We see a ceiling that's pretty high here, so as a tournament play, I'm going to lock him in as well. And let's go ahead with this, and let's optimize the rest. Alright, so we got Caspi, Willie Cauley-Stein, who I actually like as a tournament play. Will Barton, Matt Barnes, and Jeremy Grant. So I actually like that quite a bit as a tournament play. So let's go ahead and throw that in as the tournament lineup really quick. Willie Trill, definitely like him as a tournament play. Alright, Will the Thrill. I think he'll be very highly owned, but I mean, Will the Thrill in this spot is very solid here, so I'm totally fine going him in cash and in GPP. And Jeremy Grant, we've seen his upside a few times with some injuries here. So let's go ahead and submit that for now. So we got 10% of our bankroll in. We got $1 in tournament and $9 in cash, all head to head, which I generally like doing, especially with kind of this deep into the season. The double ups and 50-50s aren't really as soft as they usually are. So let's just go ahead and go to my contests, make sure everything's good. So as you can see here, we break it down and got $10 in entry, so 10% of the bankroll. So depending on how much I win or lose, I'll adjust that total bet amount based on how much I'm at tomorrow, for example. So this is just a video to kind of show you guys how much to allocate in your funds on each night, and you definitely want good bankroll management. You definitely want good game selection, especially if you're just starting out with a very limited bankroll. I wouldn't really go for the $5 games right away. There's really just no need to. You can get the action in $1 games or $2 games. Um, I'm expecting these to fill, and if not, we'll get auto matched with plenty of people on the board there. So, and then because I'm more of a cash game player, my 90-10 split might be a little too high for most people, but you also have to keep in mind it's very hard to cash tournaments consistently. So when you're trying to build your bankroll at first, you definitely want to look more towards cash. It's a bit safer. ROI isn't as high, but your win percentage is obviously higher. So as you get going, or if you're more of a tournament player, you can definitely adjust to maybe 70-30 or 60-40 even, kind of as you go, or 50-50 really. But for now, I'm going to do 90-10, and for now I'm going to keep these lineups in. I'm going to keep following the feed, of course, for breaking news, and definitely mess around with a few more lineups, but as of now I'm pretty set. And that does it for the first installment of the Bankroll Builder series, and I'll be back with you guys next time to see how I did and how many games and which games I enter.